Welcome to our Summer of 2024 Mystery Quilt. Every 2 weeks, we will have a new video with some cutting and piecing to make a quilt, but you won't know what you're making until the final clue. There will be 6 clues for this mystery. This is clue number 1. I'm going to use Halloween fabrics to make my mystery quilt. For my background fabric, I chose a gray that has some bats on it. Background fabric, you will need 3/4 of a yard, and a medium to large scale fabric is appropriate. For the medium light fabric, you can get 1 1/3 yard of one fabric, or you can get a 1/3 yard each of 4 to 5 fabrics. I picked orange for my medium light. Medium to small scale designs work best for the medium light. For the medium dark fabric, you need 1 1/8 yard. I picked a green to be my medium dark. You will need 1 1/2 yard of a dark fabric. I've chosen a black that has multicolored stars on it. For the border and binding fabrics, you will need 1 1/4 yards. A medium to large scale design works best. I've chosen a gray fabric that has multicolor designs on it. Make a fabric key for yourself so that you remember what fabric goes where. You'll be able to reference it each time you need to make cuts. If you print out the pattern, you can just cut a small swatch of fabric of each piece and glue it or staple it right to the pattern, or you can just write it on a piece of paper to keep with your fabric. The pattern will be located at the end of the video. At the end of the video, I'll share some ideas on how to choose fabrics for the mystery quilt. Plus, I'll show some other fabric ideas I considered for the quilt. The important part is to make sure there is plenty of contrast between all the fabrics. You can use any scale of fabric that you like. But for now, it's time to cut. From the background fabric, cut 2 strips that are 10 1/4 inches by the width of fabric. You will use 1 full strip and 1 half strip. From those strips, cut 6 squares that are 10 1/4 inches by 10 1/4 inches. If you've never made a mystery quilt, check the links in the description below for the mystery quilt series that we've done in the past. Bisect each of these squares twice, corner to corner, for 24 triangles. From the medium dark, cut 2 strips that are 10 1/4 inches by the width of fabric. You will use 1 1/2 of these strips. From those strips, cut 6 squares that are 10 1/4 inches by 10 1/4 inches. Bisect each of the squares twice, corner to corner, for 24 triangles. You should have 24 background triangles and 24 medium dark triangles. Now it's time to sew. Please use 1/4 inch seam allowances. Piece the background triangles to the medium dark triangles to make 1 large triangle unit. Make 12 that have the background on the left and 12 that have the background on the right. When sewing triangles together, I like to start from the flat edge instead of the point. This prevents the point from getting pulled down into the bobbin area. The sides of the triangles are all bias edges, so be very careful not to pull on the fabric and stretch it. Let the machine set the pace. Your job is just to guide the fabric through the machine. I'm going to sew 12 units with the medium dark fabric on top, and then I'm going to sew 12 units with the background fabric on top. This pattern was tested at our Spring 2024 quilt retreat. Many of them made this quilt top in 6 days, 1 clue per day. For this series, we will put out a new clue every other week. Once they're all sewn, cut them apart and head to the ironing board. For both of these units, you will press towards the medium dark fabric. I have noticed I get a better result when I press the seam flat first and then open it up to press it towards the darker fabric. And remember, these seams are all on the bias, so be careful not to stretch the pieces as you're pressing. You might be wondering what would happen if you get your mystery quilt done and you don't like it. Well, you can do what I do. I find the first person who says they love it, and then I have a gift to give them. Now it's time to put your pieces away. I like to use Ziploc bags. I put all my pieces inside with the clue that goes along with them, and then I put that inside another bag that has all the clues plus all of the fabric. If I keep everything stored together, I won't accidentally cut the fabric for another project. See the description below the video for the Mystery Quilt video schedule. Now for some tips on how to choose fabrics for your mystery quilt. Make sure that there is plenty of contrast between all of the fabrics. Use any scale of print you like, large or small, or use different unique colors for each part. Non-directional fabrics work the best. For the medium light fabric, you can use just one fabric for the whole thing, or you can pick 4 or 5 different fabrics to make it a little bit scrappy. For my quilt, I picked the border first and pulled the rest of the fabrics to match that. Another way to choose fabric is to find one fabric that you really like, especially one that has the most yardage in the quilt top, and then pick all your fabrics from that piece. You can use your stash at home, or you can use this as an opportunity to go shopping. One of the gals at the quilt retreat used a fabric combination similar to this set of fabric. From top to bottom, we have the small crosshatch for the background. The white was the medium light. The medium dark is the turquoise. The dark was the red, and the border was a beautiful floral. Another retreater made a stunning quilt using fabrics similar to these. Her background was white. She had a couple different oranges for the medium light. The medium dark was a black and white bold print. The dark was a black, and then the border, she used a couple of the different fabrics that she'd used in the middle of the quilt. An ombre print would work really well for the medium light. Use yellow for the background. Use the blue ombre for the medium light. Use the butterflies for the medium dark and the border, and the black is dark. You can even switch up the values of the fabric as long as you have your fabric key. For this set of fabric, I would use the multicolored print as both the background and the border. The medium light could be white, the medium dark could be the royal blue, and the dark could be the red fabric. You can find the pattern to print at home in the files section of our Facebook group called The Quilted Forest Friends. Or you can take screenshots to print at home, or push pause and take notes. We hope you will hit the like button, leave us a comment, share with your quilting friends, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and happy quilting!